Hey. How y'all doing? Well, as promised, here is the next stream that I want to show to you guys. This, I think, was yesterday, where after, the jury selection process, they had more motions. And these are some of the things that Sarah Boone asked for. This is hilarious. So let's take a listen.
Sarah Boone in court to the Suitcase murder trial. Trial not opening up just yet. They're still working on getting that jury seated. They started on Monday. They're going to continue today. They have a motions hearing set for 9:30. Apparently still some outstanding motions. And then they're going to continue picking the jury in the afternoon. And in case you didn't hear, Sarah Boone filed a motion requesting snacks at her trial. And so we're going to get the answer from the judge this morning about that. Take a listen.
Yes, sir, Mr. Owens.
Judge, my client tells me that they wake her up at 2:30 in the morning, and then she's kept in a holding cell until she's brought to court here at 6:30 in the morning, and then of course she's brought up around 9, and then she'll leave today about 5:30 or 6 and be in 2 different holding cells. She'll finally get to her dorm about 9 or 9:30. They stopped allowing showers after 9 p.m. She got there after that time, but they allowed her to shower since she hadn't had one. She's asking that, they get commissary there at the jail. She's asking that the officer that escorts her be allowed to bring her commissary. She's asking for 2 juice packs, 5 peppermints, 2 bags of chips, a bag of candy, and a bag of either cookies or a Pop-Tart. To allow her through the day. I think they serve them a peanut butter and jelly sandwich down in the basement at lunch, but she's not diagnosed with any kind of blood sugar, but she says she gets like today, she's feeling tired and lethargic, and so she feels like those items during a break that she could have something like that to keep her energy level. I'm asking for the court's permission that she be allowed to do that.
State, any response?
Not the state attorney's office and any of the parties involved.
Okay. I will speak to the captain of the jail if I can get a hold of her before 5 o'clock tonight and see what, if anything, we can do. I can't make any promises. My understanding from the deputies is that there are 2 bagged meals which are given, which include cookies as well, that are provided for Ms. Boone. And that's for all inmates that are stored downstairs during trials. So I'll inquire of the jail staff if I can get a hold of them this evening, and hopefully have an answer, if any, tomorrow.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, anything else?
This woman is on trial accused of committing a murder, and she's concerned about her snacks. She's not going to the movies. She's going to her homicide trial. And she's being specific. She's going, I want, 5 peppermints. I want to have a Pop-Tart or some cookies, 2 bags of potato chips. Get real. This lady's unbelievable. What about the sadness she might feel for her boyfriend, George Torres, who lost his life? He doesn't get to eat anything. And by the way, the jail is sending over meals for her. My understanding, 2 meals to be sent over. So it's not like this woman is starving. She just must think she's special. Let's bring in our attorney guest to talk about this. Very seasoned trial attorney. He was a homicide prosecutor, Randolph Rice, on the program today. Randolph, can you believe this lady? The nerve with her.
No, I can't, and this seems to be consistent with what she's been doing since the beginning of this charges. Remember, she's been, and we've talked about this for a couple of months ago, she's gone through, 9 lawyers now, and this seems to be consistent with what she has done leading up to this point. I guarantee she had this conversation with her defense team. They probably told her, no, we're not going to ask the judge that, and she probably pushed back, and they thought, you know what? Just to cover ourselves, we're going to ask the judge, as crazy as it may be. And I guarantee you this, the defense attorney was embarrassed to ask for that request. When he turned around, He looked like the most embarrassed person in the world because he knew how silly it was. He knew how ridiculous it was, but he still has to do what his client is asking him to do. And here we are with another crazy request from Ms. Boone.
Yes, Randolph, you're so right. You said what we are all thinking, that attorney would never want to ask those questions of a judge, would never think of that. But because he's got a bossy client, he did what she probably pushed him to do. I think your analysis is spot on. Here's another clip I want to show you, Randolph, where she's probably pushing for more outfits. She's very concerned about how she looks. We know that she wanted a glam squad. She wanted a professional hair and makeup artist, an artist to do her hair and makeup for this trial. I mean, it's incredible to me. Let's listen to what her lawyer said to the judge about that.
She expressed, as a 2-week trial, she wanted to wear something different every day. They expressed to me that if I would just bring her clothes every morning, whatever she wanted to wear, and then pick them up in the evening, the clothes she wore that day, that would work with them instead of going to the visitation center and that whole process. So I think that is probably the way to go.
Okay. Well, then that saves the phone call that I had set up with Captain DiGiovanni at 12:30 today to try to figure out what the issue was with the clothing.
Is always an issue with her, Randolph, as you know. Would you speak to how things typically go when you're getting a client ready for a trial, and if they're being held in jail prior to the start of the trial? Certainly there are challenges. We acknowledge that. Would you kind of speak to what's normal in the process, Randolph?
Sure. So each jurisdiction is different, and it depends on how the sheriff's department or the department that controls the jail and does the transport deals with each inmate. Some departments would rather have the attorney bring the clothing or the family member bring the clothing to the jail, allow the defendant to get dressed at the jail, and then transport them that morning in the clothing. Some jurisdictions, the sheriff's department, rather the lawyer bring the clothing. And obviously all this stuff has to be searched, right? Because they don't want things from the family maybe being snuck in. So that there are security concerns that they have about checking the clothing, make sure that there wasn't something put in there by a family member. So it is a lot for the sheriff's department or whichever the police department that's handling that transport to deal with this every single day. It is doable, but it's a lot of work to add on top of. Remember, she's not the only one in that courthouse that day. They're bringing other inmates over. So it's not the Sarah Boone show. It is the sheriff's department having to bring multiple people, and she's probably gumming up the works with all of her requests.
Oh, you're so right, Randolph. You're so right. Can you imagine her in the transport van? Because, that's the way it goes for our wonderful courties. There's a big van that goes from the jail, multiple trips sometimes, and you have multiple prisoners in it. As Randolph noted, it's not the Sarah Boone show, although she'd like to make it the Sarah Boone show. I wonder what those other inmates think about her, what they're saying about having to spend that time in the van with her and hear about these crazy requests. Oh my gosh, I bet they have stories to tell. I have another clip I'd like to play for you, Randolph, and this is where her attorney, if you recall the other day, the judge was asking about the defense witness list, and Sarah Boone threw her excellent counsel right under the bus and said, I haven't seen the list and I'm not agreeing to it because I don't know what's on it, and really made it seem like they haven't communicated. And we know James Owens is a very seasoned attorney and has communicated with her. And so here, fast forward to the other day, she finally agrees as to who is on the witness list. Let's watch.
With me, Your Honor. Could you please repeat the question?
Sure. The question was, without going to any specifics about conversations that you've had with you and your attorneys, are you in agreement with the persons that have been identified in that list that may be called as witnesses in your case?
I'm not familiar with everyone that's on here, but I do agree with whoever it is that they have on here.
Okay.
Ooh, okay. Randolph, she's, what do I want to say? What's the expression? Dumb like a fox, right? She kind of played a little dumb there about, well, I don't know who's on the list, but I guess I agree. Do you think she's trying to set up some kind of post-conviction relief for herself or ineffective assistance with some of these comments she makes?
I certainly think she is. She is probably trying to lay the groundwork for either a appeal or some sort of complaint against her attorney saying that they didn't provide me this information. I never got to look at it. And that could certainly be a basis for an appellate court to look at this case and say, well, you know what, we need to give her a new trial. She's being very sly. Again, this is the Sarah Boone show. She thinks she's smarter than everybody else. And so I certainly think she's being cryptic. I think she's maybe trying to be a little difficult, which, look, she's going to be difficult through this whole trial. There is no doubt about that. So, with the food request and the clothing request, and by the way, Julie, do you have any more Pop-Tarts? Could you send some to me, please?
Yes, Randolph, absolutely. You deserve all the Pop-Tarts. You're one of our favorite legal analysts. And gosh, I know, I wish I could, send some through the television to you right now. Yeah, we should get snacks, right? We don't snack, we do our jobs. That's what we do. My goodness. Randolph, do you think the judge, before we hit a break, do you think this judge is going to grant this request? Because at the end of the day, it's in his hands, as you know. What do you think?
No, this judge seems to be a no-nonsense kind of judge. He's going to call it right down the middle. Remember, judges are there to call balls and strikes, and they're going to take the law, they're going to take the current rules that have been set up by the courts, and they're going to say, look, I'm looking at what you presented to me. I'm going to look at the facts. I'm going to look at the law and what the courts have said, and I'm going to make a call here. I'm going to make a balls and strike decision here, and we're going to make it reasonable. And so I think he's going to make reasonable calls, but I don't think he's going to put up with her shenanigans as this trial proceeds.
Right. And we know she doesn't have a medical issue of low blood sugar and doesn't have a need to have candy or juices there at the desk. And the jury's not getting it, right? The jury's not getting snacks to munch on. So why should she?
Hey, Julie, 2 hots and a cot. That's what we always say, and that's what you get, Trust me, the sheriff's department is providing plenty of food. It sounds like she's getting a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and it sounds like she's even getting cookies. I don't even get cookies during my lunch, so she's doing better than we are.
We got to talk to somebody about that. We got to get some cookies for Randolph Rice and some Pop-Tarts. You're the best, Randolph. Stand by kindly, if you would, please. We're going to hit our first break of the hour right now, friends.
What?
Well, as you see, she was asking for snacks. She's in jail. I don't remember if she had a bond or if it was a bond that she hasn't paid or what have you. But either way, she's in custody and she's wanting snacks. Alrighty then. But I wanted to get that out and let everybody see what she was asking for. So you gotta love Sarah Boone. But I'm hearing that maybe tomorrow, possibly opening statements tomorrow afternoon. If not tomorrow afternoon, Friday morning, maybe. We'll see. See if they have any trouble, since we've already had one person that was in the jury pool that has tested positive for COVID. So we'll see how that goes. So I appreciate y'all hanging out with me, and I'll see y'all soon. Here's the outro, guys. Thanks again.